friends! Today I'm going to be showing my process for creating this Italy in the Summer Vibed piece for my last giveaway winner. I had a lot of fun with this, so let's get into it. I knew I wanted my background to have a really nice, lush, velvety, chalky feel from gouache, so after I transferred my mock-up from my iPad onto my watercolor paper, I then grabbed some masking fluid and masked out the spots that I didn't want the background to touch. The gray was put down in watercolor and the purple was gouache. Gouache is very opaque, so I had to be careful not to cover up too many of my lines while I was laying it down, just so I could still see what I was doing later on. My favorite part of masking fluid is the removal. It's just so satisfying. It did rip my paper a little bit, you can probably see on a leaf, but it was easily managed by just adding a little bit of water and getting the paper to stick back down to itself. And now I'm starting my underpainting. I do this with most of my watercolor pieces. I basically just take all the main colors that I'm going to be using and lay down just a light layer just to kind of let myself know where everything is going to be. It also helps when lines start disappearing. It kind of gives me a little bit of a guide of where things are going to go. When I paint, I tend to try to work from the background to the foreground, so I decided to work on the little double exposure landscape first. I'm kicking myself because my camera cut off a little bit of the end, but I promise you're not missing much. Let me tell you, these lemons gave me hell. I was originally going to do them in watercolor, but they just weren't coming out vibrant enough, so I ended up going over them with gouache. I actually really liked it in the end because they ended up really velvety and gave the piece that kind of vibe I wanted. But yeah, the one on the right, I had to repaint like 10 times. It just wasn't coming out the color that I wanted, but in the end, I think they turned out okay. Next, I started rendering my statue head. It's actually a 2nd century Greek statue called Fragmentary Colossal Head of a Youth. Very recognizable, you've probably seen it. I remember looking for references when I first started this piece, and it really stuck out to me because I just imagined something blooming out of it. I actually played around with the idea of plants growing out of it, but I ended up settling for the lemons because they just seemed more summery and vibrant. But yeah, there were a lot of cool shadows in the face. I try not to do just black and white. I know there's a lot more colors than that, and I wanted to make it seem like it was almost reflecting the purple from the background. It may not look like I'm doing much, but I'm actually applying my adhesive size so I can put on these really cool metallic details coming through the landscape in the bottom up through the lemons in the top, so it all kind of pulls together in a really cool way. The adhesive takes about half an hour to dry, so I figured while I was waiting on that, I would untape it from my little board there. The tape just helps the paper keep its shape while you're adding water to it, just because it can become a little warped. I went back and forth a little bit on the colors for the leaf. I actually hadn't decided what color I was going to choose right up until the end. I ended up going with this really pretty royal purple color that I thought tied in the background to the lots of green and yellow we had going on in the main piece. Gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. This is my first video since reviving my channel, so bear with me as I work out the quirks with recording and whatnot. You might have heard a little bit of noise from my cat Felix. I'll try to make sure he's away next time. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. See y'all soon. Bye.